What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Top 10 Tuesday video. I am your host, Moods. Yes, episode 102 this week. And this episode is actually an episode that was requested a long time ago. Someone asked if I could make a top 10 list of my favorite modern day vampire films. So this one's basically going to be my favorite modern vampire films from about 2000, the year 2000 until about 2016. I figured, why not just, kind of set it from the new millennium on. You hear a lot of times that people are always saying about, how modern vampire movies are generally really bad. I mean, there are obviously some good ones, but for the, in the big hindsight of things, there really isn't a lot of truly amazing, like an abundance of amazing vampire films that have been made in like the last 15, 20 years. The majority of the really good ones that were, way back in the day. But yeah, these ones right here, I feel like these 10 right here definitely belong on anyone's favorite list, really. I mean, I'm sure some people have some problems with some of these, who knows, but without further ado, let's get right into this. I need a little sip of beer here. I apologize if I sound like I'm talking with marbles in my mouth. I got headbutted by my dog, one of my dogs, yesterday, and she kind of headed me in my jaw, and I bit the shit out of my tongue, and it's swollen, and it fucking hurts, and I'm kind of stuffed up right now, so anyways, enough with the excuse. Let's get on with the top 10. Now, this one at number 10 here, I was kind of hesitant on putting it on the list because of just having it on the list is kind of a spoiler alert, but I'm assuming most people have kind of seen it. If you haven't, well, I'm sorry, but anyways, in at number 10, from 2006 is a film called The Hamiltons. Now, this one right here was a really big surprise for me from the After Dark Horror Fest. I always say that whenever I like one of these films, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of really good films out of these first 4 seasons, but this one right here is kind of an interesting story about this family that loses, I think, both their parents, and now they kind of gotta fend for themselves, and people start, ending up going missing and things like that. It's a very slow burn, very melodic, calculating film. It's very subtle in its approach, and this is what I really like about this film. It's just, I think it's executed perfectly. It's not too flashy, it doesn't really have too much, crazy things going on. It's one of those films that you're kind of invested in the characters and you really enjoy watching, and you're kind of waiting for, the finale. You're really looking forward to it and stuff. And in my opinion, I think The Hamiltons actually delivers in that. I've never seen the sequel. I think it's called The Thompsons, I believe. I've never actually seen it. I heard it's pretty shitty, but I do recommend The Hamiltons. I think it's a really interesting film. Give it a shot, man. Cool stuff. In at number 10. And at number 9 is actually a film when I first saw, I didn't actually care for, but it's grown on me. I've watched this film 3 or 4 times since the very first time. So, and this one came out in 2010, something like that, and it's called Stakeland. This guy on the cover always reminds me of Johnny Depp. When I first look at him, I always think of Johnny Depp. It's weird. But yeah, Stakeland basically takes place in like a post-apocalyptic world where vampires are kind of ruling the world, and you follow a bunch of survivors here that are trying to make their way up to what they call the New Eden, which happens to be Canada, the foreign land of Canada. So my territory. And so, yeah, it's them trying to fight off these vampires and, make it to safety. Really cool film, man. I don't know what it was about the first time I watched this film. I think I was expecting something completely different. But I love it. It just has a lot of elements of in horror film that I love, man. I love me some vampires, but I love post-apocalyptic settings. I'm a huge fan of post-apocalyptic settings, like any type of films, like anything from the Bronx Warriors to fucking Mad Max. I love anything set in that type of thing. So throw some vampires in there, pretty cool stuff. Yeah, this one's really cool, man. I really enjoyed this film. Daniel Harris makes an appearance in this film. Actually, he's in it for a little bit anyways. Plays kind of an interesting character, but check out Stakeland. Pretty cool stuff. In at number 9. And at number 8 is a film from 2012, I want to say. And it's called Kiss of the Damned. I've mentioned this film numerous times. It's basically about this vampire chick that falls in love with like a mortal, and her sister does not approve of the situation and shit, and basically all hell kind of breaks loose because of that relationship. This relationship that really shouldn't happen in the realm of vampires. It's a really interesting story. It's a really cool kind of character study of these sisters and, you know, their lifestyle and a lot of things that are going on in this film. It's shot very, very well, acted very well. Really cool stuff. Yeah, there's some stills in there. But, yeah, very engrossing film. I really enjoyed this one. I think, you know, it's probably not for everybody. It's not, like, artsy or anything. I think maybe the fact that it has something to do with, you know, a little bit of a love story and stuff. And, you know, it's not overly filled with action. It has its scenes, though. But, you know, give Kiss the Dam a try. You might like it. It's pretty cool. And that was number 8. And at number 7 is a Korean film by the man Park Chan-wook, of course, who's known for directing the Vengeance trilogy. Of course, Old Boy is part of that. This one's called Thirst. Now, this movie right here, man, it actually... the first time I watched this movie, I could not fucking believe how long this movie was, man. I think it's it's like 2 hours and 14 minutes. Like, that's insanity. Like, what is this, The fucking Shining? Yeah, it's a crazy long film. Basically about this priest that I think he takes like some type of experiment and it goes like horribly wrong. And anyways, he ends up getting a blood transfusion from a vampire. So he gets vampire blood and of course that enables his thirst for blood and, you know, and other things. It's kind of an interesting, almost like a love story. In a sense, it's kind of like Kiss the Damned. Not at all the same type of story or anything, but this one is very invoking too, because it's got this really kind of interesting humor to it. It's like dark and kind of subtle at times and stuff. Shot very, very well. It's gory. It's got all the elements in there, but a really interesting kind of take on vampirism. Pretty cool stuff. Check out Thirst. It's just a long film. It really is. It doesn't actually feel that long. It actually rips by quite fast, but it's been a while since I've seen it, so I gotta check it out another time. And that was number 7. And at number 6 is a film. Now, I wasn't 100% sure I was actually going to even include this film on the list. Number 6. Yeah, in at number 6. And I wasn't 100% sure I was going to include this film because of its nature. It's more of a comedy, and it's most definitely just a comedy, but it's a comedy horror film, and it's about vampires. So that's the reason why it sits kind of lower on this list, even though it is just a fantastic film. And it is, of course, from 2015, New Zealand's What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah, most definitely a comedy. So I had a hard time kind of putting it higher up on the list, you know, just based on the horror elements. But lo and behold, this one purely is a horror comedy. Like, I mean, they're dumping bodies all over the place in this one. It's got a really interesting premise to it about this film crew that's following these vampires and their daily lives and shit like that. And the thing that sells this film is the comedic timing of the jokes. Like, everything is just executed so perfectly in this film. The characters are just funny. Just fucking funny as hell, man. There's a really funny part with this character right here is kind of like your Nosferatu character. And I'm not going to give it away, but I pissed myself laughing. Every time I watch this movie, I just died laughing at this part. But it's just got some really, really great comedic timing in this film. I think it's shot very well. The jokes work. It doesn't get old. It just kind of rips by. And honestly, I actually just wanted more from this film, to be honest. I really dig this type of humor. I think it's just fantastic. But really great set pieces, and it just looks beautiful, too. They did such a great job in this film. I couldn't recommend it enough. I mean, if you're in the mood for a vampire film, but you're not in the mood for, you know, something as serious as like Kiss the Damned, check out What We Do in the Shadows. Pretty cool shit. Very, very fun stuff. And that was in at number 6. In at number 5 is a film, again, that I didn't really give a fair chance to when it came out. I believe this one came out in the mid-2000s, and it was mostly due to the fact of the main character I can't stand. I think he's just a terrible actor, but this film in itself is just really, it's good. It's got an awesome premise. And it's 30 Days a Night with Josh Hartnett. When did this one come out? 2007, I believe it actually came out. Yeah, it's a great premise, man, about these people that are up in the north there. And there's vampires up there, and they take advantage of the 30 Days a Night. So basically when, it's dark for 30 days and the vampires can roam for 24 hours a day, that sucks for mortals. That's a great, great premise. That's a scary premise for a film. Not being able to escape them for 30 days is just fucking terrifying. But yeah, I love this shit, man. What's his name? Ben Foster in this film just kills it, man. Really fucking amazing part by Ben Foster. Kind of sells the whole film in itself, but love the vampires in this one. I thought they were awesome, but yeah, 30 Days a Night, really cool film. So, and that was in at number 5. That was number 5. In at number 4 is one I actually talked about last week's show, or episode, which is, this happens every once in a while. It's just purely coincidence. And of course it is Byzantium, the Irish film. Of course, this was on my Irish list. Yeah, this one's a really cool film about these two vampires here that are, 300 years old or whatever. And they're living in, modern times, and their past kind of comes back to haunt them and stuff. I love this movie, man. It's really good. Another really long one. I think I said all this stuff last week, but it runs just under 2 hours, but well worth the watch, from the director of Interview with the Vampire. Like I said last week, I always forget Neil Jordan's name. I don't know what it is about this guy, but I can never remember his fucking name. Check out Byzantium, man. It's really, really well executed. Acting's fantastic. The set pieces are just fantastic. It's got a great story. Really, really interesting characters. Good stuff. And that was in at number 4. And at number 3 is a film that I saw on an abundance of top 10 lists last year, and for good reason, really. And I can totally understand why some people don't care for this film. And it is from 2015. It's called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Now, this is like an Iranian film that is, kind of interesting, because this movie was actually completely funded in America, and it was actually shot in California, but it was casted, with all Iranians and shot in the native language and stuff like that, which is really cool. Black and white. And I really like this premise of just this vampire that's kind of roaming around this kind of desolate town. What do they call it? Bad City. It's basically home to, it's like an abandoned ghost town kind of thing. It's just home to filth, and then, kind of a love story kind of breaks out in this one a little bit. A lot of people say this one's a little more style over substance. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that for sure. I mean, there's not really a whole lot going on in this one, but it's just so tantalizing. It's so fucking beautiful and well acted, and it's just intriguing, everything that's going on in this film. And, when I first watched this, I just couldn't wait to see what was going to happen next. It was kind of delivered everything I was looking for, but I really don't mind films, that are said to be more style than substance. And if you're into that, check out A Girl Walks at Home at Night. It's good shit. In at number 3. In at number 2 is a film that I just absolutely love. I think this movie's like a clinic in acting too, and it's Shadow of the Vampire from 2000 with John Malkovich and William Dafoe. This is basically a movie about the making of the 1920-21 Nosferatu film. Of course, John Malkovich plays the director, and William Dafoe plays Nosferatu. And it's awesome because it's like kind of fictional to the real thing and non-fictional, obviously, because in this version, William Dafoe actually is literally a vampire. And it's such a great premise for a film. But man, William Dafoe, John Malkovich, just their acting, man, is so damn good. Like, William Dafoe is not even recognizable in this. If you didn't even know that it was him, you probably wouldn't know. But it's just fantastic. It's such a great movie. Like I said, the acting is brilliant. The set pieces are just amazing in this too. A lot of good supporting actors in this too. And when I first watched this movie, I was kind of confused on why they didn't shoot it in black and white. And I quickly realized, I was like, if they shot the actual film in black and white, when it cuts to the black and white shots of, the film inside the film, it wouldn't have the same effect. And, I mean, that's just the way it is, I guess. But Shadow of the Vampire, it's just got such a great ending too. I love the end of this film when, I don't want to ruin it, but John Malkovich is just fantastic in it. Same with William Dafoe. It's just such a great ending. Like, all their scenes that they have together are just brilliant. But it's not a very flashy film. It's not gory or anything. It's just a clinic in filmmaking, really. It's awesome. And this movie was actually directed by the director that did Begotten, if you can believe that. That's really crazy. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name because I can never pronounce it. But that dude, the guy that directed Begotten, and he pretty much has only ever done like 2 or 3 films besides shorts and other random things. But I don't know why the guy didn't make more movies. It's crazy. Sorry. And in at number 1 is going to be, of course, from 2006, or no, 2000, is it 2006? 2008. Let the Right One In. I absolutely fucking love this film, man. It's just fantastic. The first time I watched this film, I fell in love with it. It's just such a great film. It's just so perfectly executed. The reveal in this, or the twist in this film, is just fantastic, but you just feel for these characters. The way it's shot, the cinematography is brilliant, the atmosphere, the setting of it, the whole story, it's just so melodic, and it's just relentless and unforgiving too. I love this film, man. It's just, there's so many great scenes in this film. You can go on forever just talking about it, but Let the Right One In. This is the original Swedish version, of course. This film was remade a couple years later, something like that, for the American crowd that doesn't know how to read subtitles, apparently. I don't know what the hell's up with that. I've actually never even seen... I own the remake. I've never actually watched it. I can't bring myself to watch it for some reason. It's strange and weird like that. But Let the Right One In. Fantastic film. Absolutely love it. Yeah, if there's any films out there that you guys love for modern vampire films, let me know. I know there's a couple more. There's a couple of ones that I've had on my radar and that I actually ordered also. So I need to check those ones out. I've heard really good things about them. But without further ado, let's do like a quick little roundup. In at number 10, The Hamiltons. Number 9, Stakeland. Number 8, Kiss of the Damned. Number 7, Thirst. Number 6, What We Do in the Shadows. Number 5, 30 Days a Night. Number 4, Byzantium. Number 3, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Number 2, Shadow the Vampire. If you've never seen this, do yourself a favor and check it out. It's amazing. And of course, number 1, Let the Right One In. So those are 10 of my favorite modern vampire films. Yeah. Check you guys next week. And as usual,